Old school cool once again. Welcome back, everybody, to the Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Here tonight, we have the absolute pleasure of spectating history here with the Gen 4 Cup cars. Hello, welcome everyone to the round 12 of 20 here at Rolling Thunder, brought to you by Silverback Tax Solutions 130. I'm Mike Noss, and joined alongside me in the booth today is going to be Robert Covey. As well, thank you to Eddie Smith behind the scenes, as well as cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We're here at this incredible 1.5 mile circuit located in Kansas City, Kansas. Let's take a deeper look with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Kansas Speedway. Located 20 minutes west of downtown Kansas City and on the Kansas side of the border, Kansas Speedway is a 1.5-mile D-shaped oval built by International Speedway Corporation and opened in 2001. Following a reconfiguration in the summer of 2012, Kansas Speedway saw its corners go from uniform 15-degree banking to the current progressive banking, starting at 17 degrees down by the white line and working up to 20 degrees near the wall. The change in banking paved way for far more side-by-side action across the board here. A wide track, there are varying philosophies to getting around Kansas. Some prefer the bottom of the track, which while shorter and quicker, can also lead to greater tire wear. Others like to ride around by the wall, using that extra bit of banking for a bigger run off the corner and to conserve tires. A problem spot here at Kansas can be the exit of turn 4, where the car is prone to snapping loose if a driver has too much steering input on corner exit, and the apron can also be especially slippery, particularly just past the start-finish line. The NASCAR Cup Series races here at Kansas twice a year with accompanying races from the Xfinity Series, the trucks, as well as ARCA. IndyCar held events here at Kansas from its opening in 2001 all the way through 2010, but has not been back since the repaint. Well, that's our look at Kansas Speedway. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, enjoy the show.
A lovely track guide and a lovely track here tonight. Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Kansas here tonight?
Well, Kansas Speedway, a little bit newer track, tri-oval, 17 degree and 20 degree turns, 1.5 miles. 2 different grooves really on this track, up high, down low. Just depends on where you're comfortable with the car, but gonna stand for some exciting racing tonight.
Most certainly. As well, of course, next race is going to be over at Dover Speedways next week. Make sure you guys check that out here at GSRC as well. Don't forget to check out our social media as well as our website down in the description, as well as our merchandise. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button over here on YouTube so you don't miss a moment here at GSRC. As we head on into it here, we're going to be heading down towards the qualifying session. There's about 1 minute and 47 seconds left. But one thing I'd love to take a look at here is these drivers that we have here tonight. We have the pleasure of seeing the standings here. Dylan Jones leading us away here with 76 points. Jared Mogard going to be behind him, not too far, only 16 points back. Scott Crump going to be in 3rd. Colin Weatherholt, 4th in the standings currently, and Ryan Johnson in 5th. Now, this is the name that everyone's going to be looking at here tonight. Daniel Eberhardt currently sitting in 6th position in the standings, was leading just 2 races ago. He is back tonight, so we will see his re-debut, if you want to call it that. Jason Maines in 7th position behind him, with Michael Larch in 8th. Luke Smith going to be in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 will be Jacob Manning. We roll on in here. Will be fastest lap popped up there from Scott Crump, current pole sitter in the standings. But if we could maybe take a little look here at the times, as you can see they're very tight. Larch very close to the window. But as we have it here, Scott Crump being the dominant one so far, Rob.
Yeah, and he did really well last week, and really surprised to see Daniel Eberhardt down. Mind you, he's missed a few races. Maybe he's off pace a little bit. I'm sure the guys are going to be hoping that he is. Especially guys like Dylan Jones, Jared Mogard, and Scott Crump. Hoping he has an issue tonight, maybe kind of keep them up there in the standings, because he has shown he is really the guy to beat when he's on here. As we ride on to one of our onboard cameras tonight, Jacob Manning, who's, he's got a win under his belt. He's been running really good races, been moving up the standings ever so slowly, but definitely can't count him out of this yet, even though he's sitting down currently in 13th place.
No, most certainly not. And you can see the determination on the face there of him. But as we have it here tonight, some fun little facts about this league that we have here in the Rolling Thunder Racing Series. So far, we have had 1,541 laps in this season, and 93.5% of those have been green, with over 157 lead changes. Now, Rob, that is a true testament to a league that has been put on. And speaking of which maybe you could dive into here, we have the man himself as well in this one tonight.
Yeah, great. These guys have been doing a great job. They've shown a lot of respect for each other, but they've also shown they can really get the elbows out and really fight for it here. And tonight, our organizer and creator, Justin Rideout, is on field tonight and will be racing with these guys, but he is not in the championship. His goal is to keep the field full and maybe take away some points from some other drivers just to make things more interesting. We get a look here of Justin sitting there as they go through the instructions. The drivers are waiting for in their warm up, getting instructions from race control. They do have live race control. If you cause an incident, you're going to get an EOL. So really great league. I really love the way these guys run. They really put on a great show. And, congratulations to Justin Rideout for just creating a fabulous league that's a joy to call every week.
Yeah, most certainly. And of course, we saw the pleasure of him racing last week, and he managed to put on quite the fight himself there, like a tilapia on the line, almost going for the lead. Not quite able to take it, though. He did get knocked down a few positions, but still with a great finishing result nonetheless. And also with the pleasure of talking with him afterwards.
Well, and that is the other thing that has changed. If you've been watching the series up to now, the drivers have had to do a lot of fuel saving, basically from the drop of the green flag. They have increased the fuel load on the cars by about 10%, which should allow the drivers to run full out from the start to finish, providing a caution comes out. So if we end up running full green, which these drivers have shown they have the ability to do, we may end up seeing a few drivers having to come in for a splash and go. However, they all are really used to at this point having how to save fuel and how to get a little bit more out of this car.
Yeah, especially this car being the Gen 4 NASCAR, one of the more challenging beasts to tackle. Foot full of throttle, and you'll be facing the wrong direction. Luckily, these drivers extremely talented in that strategy, though, as you're saying, they're going to be a massive part of it here tonight in terms of the expected three-stop strategy that we may be seeing, but you never know. Of course, like Rob was saying there, the splash and dash could always play a massive part in gaining and losing some big positions.
Yeah, go ahead.
As we dive on in here, the number 25 car going to be just making his rounds here in the warm-up session. It's going to be James behind the wheel here, just getting that practice in, and you absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers, they'll get out there and they'll run. And I mean, these drivers have had some time off. The first race back after the holidays was last week. So, a lot of drivers still a little rusty. We've got another new driver has come into the league. Jeff Merck in the number 60 is new to the league this week. He has not run with the league before, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do tonight as these drivers go through the warm-up. And I believe we have a series of drivers with onboard cams tonight, so we can get a really good look at what these drivers are going through within the cockpit of these cars and what they've got to deal with.
Lovely. You can see ahead here the power. We have Brenton Barker there up in the top left and his buddy in the background once again. We have Justin Rideout on the top center of the screen. We have Randall Nicholas and his incredible beard in the top right. Scott Crump over in the middle left. He's got such a posture. His arms are so stretched out, it seems, from his wheel. Ryan Johnson there, going to be in the middle with Dean Gagliano with a look at that simulator, that setup he has there in the right-hand middle side. Joshua Suss going to be on the bottom left, calm as ever. Jacob Manning in the VR in the bottom center, and Jeff Merrick in the bottom right, calm, cool, and collected.
Jacob man in there, getting loosened up. And again, we brought this up last week. It's great to see all of the different configurations these guys go through, different wheels, different, some guys in VR, some guys, you got triple screens, whether or not maybe some have a single screen, and just so many different configurations. And, the smiles and the determination, we get to see it on their faces as they run this race.
Absolutely. And what a setup. As we're going to get ready here into it and get into the gridding here. Of course, gridding brought to you by Silverback Tax Solutions. And we'll get a quick little rundown of all of our drivers here as they all start to line up. Starting off here on row 1, it is going to be Scott Crump lined up next to Michael Larch. Row 2 bringing up Jeff Merrick in 3rd with Seth Reed in 4th. Randall Nicholas going to be 5th quickest in qualifying, followed up by Drew Ballesteros in P6, row 3. Jacob Manning, row 4, in 7th position. Trevor Williams going to be 8th quickest on row 4 with Seth Corcoran behind in P9. Jordan Borabo in P10, rounding out our top 10 there on row 5. Moving on to row 6, it will be Colin Weatherholt lined up next to Jared Mogard in P12. James Shanwolf in P13 with Daniel Eberhardt in P14. Maybe a bit out of qualifying there on his return. Jason Maines going to be in 15th with Justin Rideout in 16th. Bo Tiffany, 17th quickest in row 9 with Matt Molnar Company in 18th. 19th position belonging to Luke Smith. And the back there of row 10 belonging to Joshua Suss in P20.
And round out the bottom of the grid here, we have Ryan Johnson alongside Brenton Barker in row 11, with Dylan Jones alongside William Schwindenhammer in row 12, John Lewis in 25th in row 13 alongside Dee Gagliano in 26, with Lane Doyle and Jared Haynes in row 14, and Matthew Robinson in 29th place, row 15. So looking at them here on the pace lap, this is get a race details here. So this is round 12 of 20. Tonight's race is 130 laps in the NASCAR Gen 4. This is a fixed setup, so this is all about how you drive the car. There is no spare car, 4 total tire sets, and 1 green-white checkered attempt should we get a caution near the end of the race.
Safety car peels in and we get ready to go green here for the Silverback Tax Solutions 130. Massive clumping there as we saw there coming out of the backs of 3 and 4, but everybody keeping it tidy so far. Scott Crump retaining the lead for now. Michael Larch, though, going to be all over that rear bumper now as they come back down the straight.
Yeah, everybody's, this is a wide track, 2 different grooves, run high, run low. There's a lot of grip for the cars, a lot of way to come out of the corner. It's a really, really unique track, and as we said, it's a newer track. Oh, a little bump there. Oh, this is, oh. Nice save. Oh, wow.
Wow. Both cars, both drivers involved there. Kudos to them because that was a terrifying moment. Going to remain side by side on the outside of the banking, and the tires are definitely going to be feeling that. But for Jordan Borbo, going to be counting his lucky stars there for sure.
Yeah, really good job of him gathering it up there. I mean, definitely a moment kind of bouncing off 2, 3, 4 cars there, but everybody got it all sorted out. Trevor Williams, I think, has slowed down a little bit, might have a little bit of damage, but yeah, really good job handling that car and just sorting everything out as everybody was on hard and a lot of room on this track.
Yeah, a lot of room indeed, especially on these race restarts and starts. We're going to be seeing potential 5 wide here, at least maybe not quite Is, wow, massively out of shape. Michael Larch going to be losing the front end of that car. He does manage to keep it, but he drops not one, not two, but 3 positions now down into P6, and that is going to be even more positions potentially.
Yeah, a lot of, probably this is some of the most aggressive driving I've seen on the start of a lap with these guys. That, you know, I think everybody's pushing, and like I said, they've had the adjustment, you know, as of this, you know, this round, a little bit more fuel, not having to save anymore. So guys are really, really pushing the cars. We see Matt Molnar go down on the apron here, and you know, that's, I don't know about that choice. It's really going to upset these cars.
Yeah, definitely going to be needing to keep that as much as he can. See, peeling up down to the back of the bumper there of the car in front. Very tight. Molnar looking to that inside, going to be trying to slingshot himself now around the corner. He is going to be fairly successful on getting his nose in there. The number 2 car going to be just giving him, well, pretty much every single bit of inch. He's keeping his line, is Michael Larch for now. Not going to be fighting that too hard. Looking to maybe come at that a little bit later. As you mentioned, though, earlier, Rob, these drivers, now that we've had a little bit more fuel put into these cars for regulation throughout this league, this might be what allows them to race just that little bit harder.
Yeah, you know, there was, you know, the drivers were talking. They're like, oh, you know, we can't really race as hard as we want. We got to save fuel. And because, you know, usually when you see ovals and you see these, you know, these kinds of races, you're like, it's going to be 3, 4, or 5 cautions. You know, you gave out the stats there at the beginning. These guys run a lot of green flag laps. So, you know, they really don't want to save fuel. And now I'm just looking at my timing screen here, and look who has moved up 9 positions and currently sitting in 5th position. Daniel Eberhardt, not holding back, pushing that car. He wants to be at the front. I'm sure he's not happy about where he is in the standings after the last couple of weeks.
No, and unfortunately just not able to be here in the past couple weeks, though he is back, and clearly back with vengeance. You can see all over the back bumper of the cars in front. That's going to allow there, I think, Ballesteros is going to be behind as well here, but that's Randall Nicholas there on the inside. Looks like we're going to dispatch him fairly easily with the overspeed here as we head on to the outside of the banking. Of course, both lines here going to be quite viable. But it seems, though, that Eberhardt just has that pace. And I don't even know what to call it, but it's raw and pure pace.
He's definitely what you call an alien in these cars. You know, we were looking at the stats there too. You know, Matt Molnar, 13 positions, started in 18th, right behind Daniel Eberhardt, up 13 positions right now. These guys are moving. They are not holding back at all. They are pushing these cars. You can see them like almost sideways down here through the corners, just trying to get everything they possibly can out of these cars, diving down onto the apron, cutting all that track in half, taking out as much time as they can.
Extremely hard racing that we're having here tonight, but the one thing that we're noticing, and knock on wood obviously, is the lack there of the caution flying, which you love to see. These drivers giving it their all here tonight, and this is what racing is about. You can see side by side behind there, the 29 car going to be tucking up there to the bumper. We're 3 wide, though, heading into the banking.
Yeah, no, this is some of the more exciting. I have to say, this is some exciting racing I've seen from these guys. These guys have really, really opened it up now that they've got the fuel in the cars. They can put their foot down and they don't have to save. But, you know, with that in mind, so we've got 3 sets of tires in the pits. So if these drivers do 3 stints of a 30, they can do 33 laps, 33 times 2, and then a 32 lap. They will not have to save fuel. They will keep their foot down as we let Randall Nichols there, got that beard, just focused on that screen, seeing what he's got in front of him. And I believe he's got, I got to look at my screen, my timing screen here.
Wow, he is so deep there. You can see him getting a little verbal on his microphone. I wonder if he's feeling some sort of issue, but definitely something going on there. Lapse of judgment for Randall Nicholas.
Well, these cars, I think, are a little bit loose, you know, as they get into the run. The information I have is tire wear is moderate, but I mean, depends on how you're pushing the car. You know, if you go out there and you just run laps, yeah, maybe a little bit moderate, but when you're running side by side with somebody else, trying to take a position, trying to hold your position, you're going to burn up those front tires. You're going to start to rip them apart, and you're going to start losing that grip.
Wow, and look at this. What a sight to see. Trying to make it 4 wide there. They are down, heading in towards, I think, 3 and 4. They're going to keep it 2x2 Noah's Ark formation for now. The number 9 car down the inside. You can see as they go down onto that apron, using it extremely liberally. That's extremely interesting, as you mentioned earlier, is the car going to be very easy to unsettle when coming back onto the track.
Well, and that's the thing. It's where you come back onto the track. How much of that, how much of that transitional from that flat apron onto the banking, because this track is banked all the way around. So no matter where you really come back on, the car's going to shift. The rear end's going to step out a little bit. So you're going to want to try and get off that flat as fast as possible. Probably right there near the pit exit is probably your flattest point to come out. But then you got to make a hard left-hand turn to try and make that corner if you wait that long to come up off the apron.
Yeah, and here we see the slipstream again from Daniel Eberhardt. He's been working his way up the field. He's going to be looking to take P2 away from Reed here. Reed being very comfortable, not using too much of that inside, as you were mentioning earlier. You can see there, started in P14, now in position 3, 11 positions gained here at Kansas. That is a number to have here, especially within 17 laps.
Well, and no slouch behind him there. Matt Molnar up 13. He's got 2 more on Daniel Eberhardt. So, maybe Matt Molnar is going to come up here and maybe tell Eberhardt he is not the alien that he thinks he is. He's, moved up that many positions and not far behind him on pace right now. But you can see there with this onboard, it's really great to see them jump down on the apron, and just the amount of momentum, isn't really a good option, because I think they're losing a bit of momentum when they try and dive down onto that apron there, as we saw Daniel Eberhardt close up a little bit when he tried that apron run.
We also have some cheers in the chat for Matt. Matt Molnar currently in a battle of his own, battling for his life in P5. Hopefully those cheers help him on here tonight. See a lovely view, though, from the front end here. Taking a look back, though, can see the gaggle of cars. Scott Crump, though, leading this way without too much issue whatsoever. Sort of the lowrider stance, more of the, I would say, Sterling Moss style in terms of his driving style there. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how he drives with his arms straight out like that. That would just drive me bananas. But I mean, everybody has their own style, their own way to really control the car. But it looks like he's, he knows, he's shown he knows how to drive this car. So, I mean, if it works for you, hey, do it.
Yeah, and it's the sort of the, I know I've seen a couple interviews in the past from, of course, Sterling Moss, the famous Formula One driver, and he said he did it back in the day just because it looked cool. And that was why he adapted that style. So Scott Crump, I'm not sure that is necessarily why, but nonetheless, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And this is, again, this is what I love about these driver views. Maybe we can get all of our drivers on screen here just to see what everybody's working their wheels on based on position. And, just get these drivers up and show them all, everybody's got to work differently. Everybody's got different equipment. Where they are on track. Are they battling other cars? Definitely going to be holding on that wheel and just trying to keep this car on track, as we starting to see them slide around just a little bit. As we come around 21 laps, which would probably have most drivers about 10 more laps before we start seeing them come into the pits. And those laps are clicking off pretty quick.
Absolutely. Daniel Eberhardt here challenging for P2, and it looks like I think he has the run. He's been working at this for a while now, but Seth Reed hasn't really wanted to give it to him whatsoever. Seth Reed getting loose there. Oh my goodness. Very, very tight. Looks like Daniel Eberhardt is going to secure that position. Seth now put onto the back foot.
Yeah, I think he just tried to hold him a little bit too much, just didn't have the grip, kind of slid it into the wall, lost a bit of momentum. He's got a little bit of a gap there, so he was able to recover, not really lose the position other than the one to Eberhardt. But, again, Scott Crump and Daniel Eberhardt, they know each other very well. They have raced together. They have fought for top position. And I know for a fact, Scott Crump will not let him through easily. He will try his very best to stay out in the front of this pack.
You can see there, Jacob Manning caught up in a little bit of a sandwich. That's the number 9 blue and red car on the outside there. You can see a 3-wide battle, though, unfolding behind him as we go into the banking again. Going to be making it 4 there momentarily. Very calm, cool, collected view here. Jacob Manning As we ride on board, well, rear board with him, you can see the Logitech 920 as well as the VR. Love to see
just look
that
at the wheel movement. Look at the wheel movement. Like, you'd think, oh, well, you know, why is he moving? Look how much he's having to hold on to this car. Just, you know, you can see him grabbing his fingers there because I'm sure he has to tighten up when he's got to pass, but just how much wheel work they really have to do to keep this car in line out of that wall and keep their pace all at the same time.
Absolutely, and that's a really good point as well, is grabbing that steering wheel too tight. That can be a detriment as well as you're tensing up. When you drive tense, your car reacts tense. And as somebody coming from real life drive, that's something as well that you have to take into so much account. And at times your hands, they just get so tired and you have to say, no, let go. But it's a racing wheel and it feels like it wants to get ripped out of your hands at times. But of course, that's just down to the skill of these drivers.
Well, and I mean, good point there. I mean, you know, I race myself, and I mean, there are times where, you know, you have to tell yourself, you know, it's kind of an old school reference, but I mean, you go back to the version, the number 3 of cars, where it's like, I'm a fluffy cloud, you know, loosen up, just to stop being so stiff, because it can really bite you in the end.
Absolutely. There is the full view here of everybody once again, and you can see just, as you say, the different natures and the different elements. You got Joshua Suss down in the bottom left, talking away. You know, that's some drivers have that issue where, oh, Randall Nicholas, I maybe just had a bit of an incident. I'm not sure, maybe something there. Randall not too happy, it looks like, with his race as it stands. The power of the beard not quite with him in this one, unfortunately.
Well, and I think Joshua may have a stream going too, so he may even be talking to, you know, to people on his stream. But I mean, again, you know, you look at the different setups and then just look at the drivers themselves. Look how they're, you know, just look at how they're driving. Just positioned. Randall Nichols right up over top of that steering wheel. Dean Gagliano kind of back, relaxed. Joshua Suss, another one, is up over that steering wheel. Scott Crump, you know, arms stretched out. Just, you know, just it's so great to see how everybody drives.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, is with the equipment as well. As we pop back, though, into the session here, we're going to be making it 3 wide again. Everywhere you look, it seems, here at Kansas, we are 3 wide. Now heading to the banking again. The number 9 car down the inside, 3 in the middle, and 51 on the out. And it looks like everybody going to be fairly under control for now. But my goodness, as the laps tick down, this is only going to get more aggressive.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've run this track. I'm not sure about pit entry. But, you know, we clicked down lap 29 here. So based on the numbers we have, they can go maybe 34, 35 as we see a car in the pits. William Schwindenhammer, probably I believe this is 4 standard stop, 28 laps in, maybe trying a little bit of an undercut. But yeah, we should see this whole field come in within the next 3 to 4 laps.
And that will spice things up. Will the leaders go long? I presume so. William in there with a very short stop and back out. Going to be our first of our stoppers tonight. Looking back, though, up at the front here, we see Daniel Eberhardt reeling in Scott Crump. Now, looking at the times here, lap times are going to be in favor currently of Daniel Eberhardt by roughly 1/10 of a second. So looking quite in the favor there of Daniel when it comes to pace for right now. He is just getting the hammer down on that Gen 4 Camaro.
Well, and look who else has moved their way up. Dylan Jones in the 3 car, 18th position, started back in 23rd, and he's running on pace with Eberhardt, with Mogard. So he is moving his way forward, and it'll be interesting to see how these pit stops sort out as we come around 31 laps. We're going to be coming around to click to 32. So how far are these drivers going to try and push this now that they've got that added fuel on board?
Absolutely. And now before chat absolutely lights me up, it's not the Gen 4 Camaro, it's the Gen 4 Impala. My apologies, everybody. I realized as soon as I said it. Back at it, though.
It's a car.
It's a car
fun to drive. And it is, I mean, like I said, I've run some laps with these guys. I like to try and get a feel for what they're going to have to deal with. And I mean, it is a really, really fun car to drive, but it can really step out and bite you really, really quickly as well. So, you know, again, these drivers have their hands full, and it's just the fact they've run as many green flag laps as they have in this series is just a testament to the ability of all of these drivers.
Daniel there, looking at him, just so confident on that inside line. You can see Scott favoring the outside there through 1 and 2, but as we head into 3 and 4, he's a little bit more parked in the middle here, trying to defend a bit more from Eberhardt, but it seems Eberhardt has the pace. Now at this stage, the number 11 car cannot come into the pits pretty much. This is going to be down to Eberhardt, and it looks like we're going to remain side by side for now. Is Eberhardt going to peel into the pits before or after Crump? That's going to be the question. We're going to go side by side again, Crump retaining the advantage.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Crump kind of give it up here to Eberhardt and probably follow him right into the pits when he does come in. Okay, maybe he's not going to. And there comes Eberhardt. Yeah, see, saw Eberhardt dive in. Ooh, can he get it slowed down? Oh, this is going to. Don't think anybody. I think they both got it slowed down in time. But yeah, you saw Eberhardt kind of dive in, and then at the last second, he decided, okay, he's going in. I'm going to try and get in there with him.
That was an alpha move from Daniel Eberhardt. My goodness, it made me readjust in my chair. Incredible stuff there. Daniel Eberhardt showing the confidence that he has behind the wheel in that Gen 4 NASCAR. Hopefully, though, he didn't pick up a penalty as a result.
I'm not seeing anything on my screen for penalties, so I think he got it slowed down. I think he got it all there, and this is full wholesale pit stops for everybody on track. Looks like everybody's coming in, everybody's grabbing their tires, grabbing their fuel, get back out on track. Keep those speeds down. Don't want to get a penalty. We'll see how this all sorts out.
As Daniel Eberhardt rejoins the track here, going to be rejoining in 15th on the timing charts, but once everything is going to be all said and done, he will be in P1 leading this race. And once again, started back in P12 and managed to work his way all the way up.
Eberhardt started in 14th.
14th.
So,
I didn't sound right. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
That's why I sit with the question.
So we still have 4 guys waiting to do pits. Jason Maines, Justin Rideout, Brenton Barker, and John Lewis. Justin Rideout might have chose to save fuel again. Well, he's in the pits now, as I could see there. Sorry, and but that's the thing too. Now they don't have to save fuel, but do you want to save fuel? It saves you time on the pit, saves you time putting fuel in the car. It's now a fuel strategy does kind of exist.
And
we have a caution on track.
Now, what has caused that? Presumably, the number 8 car, as we have just gone blowing by them at pit speeds, which presumably means that we are going to be not seeing too much damage there. Could have been just the car getting out of shape, potentially. We'll see what that was. We'll get a replay here soon enough, I'm sure. But rejoining the track, not coming into the pits. Maybe it wasn't the number 8.
Now, I'm sorry. I need my timing screen to catch up here, because how does this work out? Because Jason Maines, James Shamewolf were on the lead lap. All the other cars were a lap down. This is going to be interesting to see how this sorts out. This may put almost half the field a lap down.
That's incredible. You're absolutely right. We're going to see this here real quick, and oh, what? So there was a tap there. Oh my goodness, a car getting enough mid-air time there to be served snacks on that flight. Unfortunately, though, for the STP, going to be coming back into the pits, but not sure what caused that. Looked like a car maybe peeling into the pits, or a car and a car coming out. It's hard to look at first glance.
Yeah. Oh, he just lost it.
Oh, he missed a gear, went down a gear, one too many there, and he checked up the speed a little bit too much, and as a result, the car behind him just not quite expecting that sudden deceleration, and well, what happened.
Yeah, really unfortunate, and that's the thing too, right? You miss a shift with these cars, and it's a downshift, that rear end's coming around. It's going to lock up. There's nothing you can do about it, and really, really unfortunate. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my timing screen here, and I'm only seeing 4 cars on the lead lap. This is going to be. I got to see how this all sorts out.
Yeah, in terms of pit strategy, this is completely out of the waters for me. Yes, we're 4 cars currently on the lead lap. That is going to be James, Justin, Jason, and Daniel here. Which, wow, this is spicy. Of course, everybody else does have fresh tires and fresh fuel. Big thank you as well.
Yeah, but so do they, because they get a free pit stop.
You're right, they do. So free pit stop is gonna, as they're gonna be taking that now, it looks like. Jacob Manning into the pits. Justin Rideout stays out.
My timing screen's showing me that he has pitted.
Okay.
So James Shanewolf has 15 laps. According to my timing screen, he's got 15 laps on his tires. So he was one of the early pitters. So major gain here from pitting early, but he does have 15 laps on this set of tires.
Fascinating here tonight, and it is going to be a few more laps under full course yellow.
Now they do have okay, so we do have wave arounds, so this may bring everybody back. We'll have to see how the wave arounds work here on this kind of scenario. This is the first time I've seen this happen where we were in the middle of pit, full pit cycle for everybody, and then the caution come out. And like you're saying, like right now I got 4 cars on the lead lap, and Scott Crump is out in front, so he should get a wave around, I believe, and they will bring James Shanewolf up to behind the pit car.
And we'll take a look at that here in a moment. With a quick word from our sponsors. We're gonna have a quick little commercial break, and we will be back at it with. Oh no, never mind. They say that we're lights out here. I don't think we are gonna be. Safety car gonna be peeling in, and Shenwolf gonna be taking the lead of this race.
They're going to line up here. So yeah, seeing 4 cars on the lead lap according to my timing screen. I think we saw Scott Crump start to go around. No, he's still there. So wow, this is really a change for this. Some of these drivers are going to have to really light their cars up as we come around the corner here.
As it slows down, you can see that is such an odd sight. That is not quite the pack of NASCARs that you were expecting here on race restart.
Yeah, so it looks like that, most of the cars got wave around. So they're going to come up and on the lead lap, but at the back of the pack. So they've got to work their way through. Other than Daniel Eberhard, who lucked himself out and got himself, stayed in that 4th position. But now we have Maines, Rideout, and Shanewolf all up at the front here, contesting for the lead.
As we get ready to go green once again for the restart. Immediately.
Huge launch by Shanewolf.
Yeah, he has gone, rocketed into the lead there. The number 8 car going to be under threat. That's Justin Rideout in P2, managing to benefit massively from this caution. And the cars rumbling around there through 1 and 2. Heading now towards 3 and 4. You can see everybody bunching up. We're 2-3 wide there for a moment. Everybody, though, fairly content at this race restart.
Yeah, and so with everything sorted out, we've still got, what do we got? 25 cars on the lead lap as caution is out again.
And I think with that caution, we are going to use that opportunity here to take a quick... so for this caution, Robert, why don't you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, let's see if we can get a replay as to what happened to the caution here. Here it comes. So what are we looking at? Maybe just got a little loose. Did he get any help? Yeah, it looks, just, wasn't any, he tried to move down there, but the other car was on his inside, just caught his quarter panel, spun him around. Be interesting to see how they sort out the EOL here. But yeah, I believe that's going to be on the inside car for just making it 3 wide there.
Very interesting indeed. As we now have a little bit of a lull, now we'll head on into a brief little commercial break and be back with you soon.
About the IRS or
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you to Silverback Tax Solutions for providing all the lovely work you guys do. And as we now are on that pace lap here, waiting for it. We do have a report from that incident, Rob.
Yeah, so we did find out that that is the number 38 of Ryan Johnson is going to receive an EOL for that one. So that's going to put him back to the back of the pack. Pretty much kind of, he started in 21st place. He's up 1 in 20th with that EOL, but has shown that he can move himself forward. And we have, I believe, if I do the count again, we've got 25 cars on the lead lap. So everything kind of sorted out after that chaotic pit stop cycle.
Sorted out, but the one real, I think, somebody's going to be maybe a little upset in this engagement is going to be Scott Crump, our previous race leader, number 11 car. I have a sneaking suspicion that he is going to be head down and a red visor on for this next small stint in this race.
Oh, he's got the lights flashing red and blue, and so I mean, you know, something's going to be red for sure.
As he's dialed in, ready to go as he waits for the lights to go out on our pace car up at the front. James, I don't think he was expecting to find himself in this position at this stage of the race, but Shanwolf, it is to be said, driving superbly thus far, and going to be in a bit of an awkward spot here for strategy. We'll see if that works out for them later on. Of course, so far though, playing it to absolute brilliance.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. You know, he's running out front, nice place to be, but he does have 20 laps on his tires. He has the most laps on his tires than anybody in the field right now. And Justin Rideout, Jason Maines, Daniel Eberhardt, I mean, you know, 9, 7, 6 laps on these tires. So they're going to be able to go. They're going to have a lot of grip on this restart as the lights are out on the pace car. We're going to be coming around and going green when we come back around to the start-finish line here as they come out of turn 2 onto the backstretch.
James here, looking for a good result. This would be quite the delivery if he could manage to bring this home in the finish. Currently, though, he has to contend with this race restart ahead of him. The pack will be given to him as soon as that safety car pulls in, and it will be on his decision for the restart.
Well, and look who he's got on his inside, Justin Rideout. And as we said, you know, as we come around here to green, Justin is running, but he's not in the championship, but he could make it a very, very bad day for somebody else that wants points. So it really is a wild card up here in the front at the start of this next round.
Absolutely, and Shinwolf as well, without a top 5 finish yet in this league. So this could be the chance tonight. Safety car pulls in as we get ready for our restart here. We go green, green, green once again, and it's going to be a smashing start for Shinwolf onto the outside there. He is going to get away brilliantly.
Well, and definitely something he's going to want to do. You know, with those older tires, he's going to want to shoot himself out front, try and get as much of a gap as he can with these guys that have the newer tires, so that when he does actually come into the pits, and like I said, we've been told they can probably do 35 laps on a fuel stint. So, you know, depending on how things work out, and we've seen a couple cautions, and we know cautions breed cautions, as much as I hate to say it, he may be in a really, really good position here if that, you know, that little yellow flag happens to rear its ugly little head.
And in P2 currently, that is Daniel Eberhardt, who made up 2 positions there on the race restart. Justin Rideout was not able to hold on. Neither was Dylan Jones. In fact, actually, Dylan Jones, I think, made a position up over Weatherholt at the start there. Scott Crump managing to stay where he is in 6th for right now. But an incredible restart there for Daniel Eberhardt. It seems that even though that pit strategy may not have played too well into his favor, he's managing to play it excellently with just raw pace here tonight as he takes a look down the inside here of the banking of turn 3.
Yeah, and he does have the freshest tires of anybody in the top 10. He's only got 9 laps on those tires, so he's got a ton of grip, and he's going to use it. I mean, he's shown he knows how to use the grip on the tires, and he's going to put that car right down on the bottom. Tons of grip down there. Whoa, he got a car on that Shane Wolf into the wall there. Got a little loose. Going to kill his momentum and move him back through the field.
Oh, and that's going to be just devastating for Shanwolf. He was doing so well up into the stage, but I think that is potentially what you were talking about earlier, Rob. Those used tires. He's just not able to push as hard as the cars around him. He's trying to, but he just doesn't have the grip.
Yeah, starting to fall down the field a little bit now, and you know that smack on the wall definitely has not helped his cause. But you know, anything can happen. We're 50 laps into this, still got a lot to go. As Scott Crump right up behind Dylan Jones, saying, "I want to go after Eberhard." You can see him just focused there. Dylan Jones go down on the inside, Eberhard on the outside. It's just waiting for something to happen, maybe just biding his time, letting these two tangle it out and see if they can't maybe take each other out of his way.
Patience is the name, patience is the game. Scott, does he have it? That's the question. As telling a racing driver to sit and wait can be a futile effort at times, and I just see there's a massive clumping in the back there. I thought I saw contact. I think everyone's all right, though. My scoreboard lighting up with position changes right now. We are side by side throughout this entire field, it seems. The action is just electric.
Yeah, lots of pack up here, and you can see, Crump, taking advantage here. He's going to try and take them 3 wide, keep Eberhard out there on the outside. Just doesn't have enough to get down on inside him. But back to Dylan Jones here. I mean, he has raced Eberhard. He has shown he can beat Eberhard on a clean run, just depending on how everything sorts itself out with stops and tire strategy. So, Eberhard's not on a free rein here. As good as he is, as much of an alien as this, he's not on a free rein for a win here.
No, most certainly, but he has driven extremely well thus far, it is to be said, with an incredible push through the field. There's a few other drivers as well in terms of positions gained that have made some large numbers. There's really some down at the field. I see Sean Corcoran currently in P17. He has fallen down massively throughout this field tonight. Definitely not his race.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at that too. If you look at our top 5 drivers, other than Scott Crump, they have all moved up over 10 positions. Justin Rideout, Matt Molnar, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhard, all over 10 positions from the start of this race to be running in the top 5.
Absolutely amazing. And look at these sights as well. This is, I think, just to Justin, if you are watching this back, of course, I think adding the fuel to the cars worked. I think it definitely, this is some of the most exciting racing I've seen when it comes to oval racing in a long time. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely opened these drivers up. And I like I said, I try to have keep as much information on the league as I can as we ride on board here with Ryan Johnson. You see that just the wiggle of the wheel. These guys are really holding on to these cars. They're really pushing these cars now. I think it was a great decision to give them that extra fuel, as you're saying. Now these guys can come out here and really, really show what they've got. But it can lead to a lot of stuff we don't want to see as well.
They most certainly can. So far, I think we've had 2 cautions here tonight. Obviously, knock on wood, we don't have any more. It's been such a good series as well thus far in terms of that 93.7% of this entire series. 12 rounds into the Rolling Thunder League has been green, green, green. I don't think a lot of leagues get to say that. So shout out there to the Rolling Thunder League, of course, for managing that. And shout out to Justin Rideout for putting this on.
As we ride on board here with Brent Barker, it's hard to see him with that blue lighting, but I can just see him there, just focused in on what he's doing. Currently running in 27th place, just kind of holding on to the car. And we've seen now, 57 laps in, anything can change. Anything can happen in this race. So, just because you're back there in 27th doesn't count you out until the checker flag drops.
No, most certainly not. And Brendan here just playing that long game at this stage, and so far doing what he can at it, obviously. And such a dangerous spot to be in, though. It's a give and take, right? As anyone can take it from any stage in this race, but that also means that anything can happen. Yeah, this oval race, it's so hard to call, so hard to predict here. These drivers just driving flat out the entire way.
Yeah, Eberhard having to do some serious, he's actually having to, he's not walking away with this. He's having to do some serious maneuvering to try and keep Crump and Jones behind him, who, even though they're battling, they are putting the push on Eberhard to make sure he stays clean, make sure he doesn't make a mistake. as they kind of force him to stay on the high side of the track.
Of course, Scott Crump, he's going to be coming off the back of a race victory, so confidence will be there for him. He knows that he can win when Daniel isn't there. He wants to prove it to the rest of the world that he can win. Well, he is. And so far, trailing him by a tenth, but keeping him honest. He needs to be careful. You can see there, that's going to be Jones, who managed to finish in P2 last time around, making a look to try to take his, I think, first race win, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I believe Jones has 2 wins right now. Yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, he's got 2 wins, and as of the last race, he is in the top of the championship. With Eberhardt down in 6th place, even with a win today, if Jones can finish even just 1 position behind him, he may be able to hold on to that position, even though, Eberhardt, he may have to give Eberhardt the win, depending on how everything sorts out here.
It's going to be down here to the long game, and Dylan playing it wisely as he just bides his time and waits. He's not going too aggressive, not using too much tire here early. As we've seen, that can be the detriment to some drivers. Where has Weatherholton slipped down to P20 currently?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I mean, Jacob Manning moved himself up into 7th place, kind of back to where he started, according to my timing screen. Had fallen off pace there for a little while, but looks like he's gathered everything up here and is starting to make a run to move himself forward. Has 1 win under his belt, a podium finish last week. He's shown he's getting better. He really has the talent underneath him when he relaxes and just drives the car, and he's proved he has the ability to run up front.
Absolutely. Jacob here, you can see, so calm. Every time we go on board with him, dialed in as ever, using that inside apron there once again. You see rejoining very early, safely. Sends it there.
Yeah, a little bit of a send. Yeah, a little bit of. I think he was thinking about taking that inside line, but I don't. He's got. Where are we at here? We're at 29 laps on this stint. Again, we were told tire wear is kind of moderate, but I mean, these guys are really fighting. They're really pushing these cars. So I think the tire wear is probably a little bit more than most of them were expecting. And now, coming into, some of these drivers are on lap 30. So, 3, 4, or 5 laps, probably about 2, 3 laps. We're going to start seeing wholesale pit stops again.
Manning is not allowing Reed to breathe at all. A little bit loose there on exit for Manning. That is going to give a slight gap, but you can see the confidence into the corner. The liftoff is so much later for Manning. He's able just to maximize his minimum speed through the corner now. We go back around through the tri-oval.
So that puts us, we are halfway. We just clicked around to 66. These drivers are halfway through. And I'm just looking at some of our other onboard drivers maybe we can take a look at. Randall Nichols, he's lost a little bit here. Started in 5th. He's dropped down into 12th. Maybe just, we saw him on board a little earlier, just a little bit of a struggle. But just look at the focus he has. And I mean, it does take a lot of focus to drive these cars. It just hold on to them. You see the wheel wiggling back and forth as he comes through the corner. Looks like he's got good steady control, but just the focus in his eyes as he's running around the track.
The focus in his eyes, and as I've said it before, and we'll say it again, the focus in his beard. Because of course that is where the focus comes from, in case anyone was curious. But another honorable mention out there as well is, I just want to say Joshua Suss. Been doing a great job so far. Another one of our onboard cam drivers. He's currently, that was Randall Nichols getting a little out of shape there. I think with a tap of the wall, unfortunately. Randall has just had a bit of a struggle here tonight. I don't think that's his first tap.
Yeah, a little bit of the commentator's curse there. We put him on screen. He has a bit of an issue, but here we are back on board with Joshua Suss. And, 19th position. It looks like he's having a little bit of a problem there with his connection. Maybe that's, might be hindering him a little bit. Maybe he's got a little bit of flashing going on. It's just causing him not to really push the car. Maybe he knows he's blinking a little bit. Maybe he's, blinking for us, but maybe not for everybody else. But look at these guys here. Crump, Jones, Rideout. And I mean, I did speak to Justin, and he said he's going to fight, he's going to battle, but he's not going to put himself into a position where he may maybe cause one of these drivers to have a wreck. But again, currently running a 4th position, so even if we were to checker flag now, that's a set of points that somebody's going to miss out on.
It definitely adds a little interesting variable, but you do absolutely love to see Justin out there, and as well as not just out there, he's trying. You can see going for the overtake on the inside there. Not going to be able to get it down the inside of Jones just yet, but biding his time, and well, time is going to be the enemy here, I think, of Jones.
Well, and I think what I'm starting to see on my timing screen, we're starting to have our pit stop cycles go through here. We've got a few drivers with 35 laps on the tires, 34 laps on the tires. They should be coming down to their final amount of fuel in these cars. Michael Larch has just dove into the pits, expecting to see our leaders probably come in within the next 2 to 3 laps.
We'll see. I'm very interested as well as somebody else who has had a very good show. Ooh, my, and hold that thought. Is Dylan Jones getting very frisky there with Scott Crump, pushing him down the back straight, now into the banking again. Oh my, this could be on here, and Daniel Eberhardt has not gone that far away. Still under a second is the gap, but it is going to be gaining the more these two battle.
Yeah, as long as if these two don't, kind of sort themselves out, Justin Rideout's just, again, he said he's not going to he's going to race. He's going to push these guys. He's going to make them fight for their positions, but he's not going to, he's going to keep himself from making some risky moves. But that doesn't mean the guys in front of him won't make some risky moves to keep them behind him or to take a position away from the guy in front of them.
You can see so comfortable is Rideout on that inside line. He's not finding anything from it just yet. As we go back now to the outside. Ooh, he lost a lot of speed there and is going to be dropping down a few positions.
Yeah, just full momentum loss there. It didn't have anything with him, but we see, and again, like you mentioned, Eberhardt is not pulled away. It's only a 7/10 of a second to Crump, 9/10 of a second to Jones. And again, we're coming up to pit stops here. I would assume within the next 2 laps, we'll probably see Eberhardt come in. Mind you, he did stop under that caution and throw more fuel in the car, so he may be able to go a little longer than most of these drivers.
I just saw Eberhardt wash a little bit wide there. Not sure that was fully intentional or if that is due to the lap traffic there in front. That could play a bit of a factor here. Needs to get around that fairly quickly. Behind, though, the squabbling is really helping Daniel here.
Yeah, it's allowing. Just look how close he's running to the wall there. I mean, he's practically kissing the wall, trying to get as much out of that car as he possibly can. As we see, here we go. Here come our pit stops.
Scott Crump gonna come into the pits here. One of our first stoppers. You can see there's a few other ones in already, and they're going to be coming back out swiftly. But in terms of our lead lap runners, okay, well, most people on the lead lap, as they're coming back around to it. But
yeah, Eberhardt, Jones, Rideout, all 36, 39, 40 laps on tires. So, maybe as I said, Eberhardt did an extra stop there. He has said before, the tires can probably go a little bit longer, and the way he drives his car, it doesn't surprise me he can do it. So he may have an extra few laps of fuel on here, and just hopefully we avoided the chaos we had with our last pit cycle.
Most certainly, and chaos currently ensuing. Looks like Daniel opting to stay away from that. Justin has decided to come in as well. Here we're going to see Daniel, though, make his stop a lap later than the rest of the field. Now, will that play any part? Probably not.
Well, and again, pit stops can breed things that you don't want to happen. You can get caught behind a lap car. You can get caught behind a slower car. Maybe you miss your pit stall on the way in. anything can happen no matter how experienced you are. I know I've, you know, done 3-4 pit stops, come in on the 5th one and just overshoot my box. Anything can happen. So once these pit stops cycle out, we'll see where Eberhardt can pull himself out. Looks like he's headed back out on track now, I believe.
Some other cars peeling in, and the action resuming around them. Daniel coming back now around to the apron, gonna have to rejoin safely, of course, and the back end gets loose there momentarily. Now that could be detrimental.
Yeah, that's definitely going to cost him a little bit. That's, he would have come out on the field, like, thinking about 9th or 10th. And I think that maybe that was what it was, is he saw these other cars coming, going, I need to get out there, push the car just a little too hard, and you saw how loose the rear end got on that with the new tires.
And that has dropped him behind the likes of Jones, as well as a few others that were running up at the front there. Scott Crump ahead there, you can see.
Yeah, so right now, Luke Smith, Bo Tiffany, John Lewis, Joshua Suss, all waiting for, Joshua Suss, John Lewis coming in for their pit stops. Luke Smith, Bo Tiffany, some of our back runners, going those extra laps. We're going to have one more pit stop after this one that they will have to come through. As you see Eberhardt here, probably not happy with that pit exit. He's going to push this car and move himself forward as fast as he can.
Most certainly not taking no for an answer is Daniel Eberhardt here tonight. But Luke Smith, who was leading this race at one stage there for a moment, a little bit of an honorable mention, I would say, as earlier. He has managed to finish in P8 last time around. I think he was in P15 or so when he came into the pits. So a bit of a challenge this time around, coming in all by his lonesome here as well. Going to be rejoining the track, I think back in around P15 again.
Yeah, we've got Bo Tiffany coming in, which is going to, graduate Colin Weatherholt to the lead with, and he's had his pit stop. So, Colin Weatherholt, Michael Larch, Jacob Manning, Scott Crump, our top 5 drivers, and Randall Nichols will be our top 5 drivers once they get past Bo Tiffany here in the front. And, Daniel Eberhardt, down 8 positions. He does have some space to make up here. He's shown he can do it, but you got to worry about the cars in front of you as well.
Absolutely. And as you can see, these cars, they're riding those different grooves. Now, Ryan, I'd love to hear a explanation here of somebody who's maybe a bit well versed in the knowledge here of NASCAR, and explain what these grooves mean a little bit more.
Well, the groove is basically where the top grip point is, because, a lot of people think that you just drive these cars around. You're actually sliding the rear end. You're not trying to slide it a lot, but you're sliding the rear end through the corner. And what you want to do is you want to find that groove in the track, just where that tire is going to find its maximum grip. And as we said, this track's got a nice low groove, but it is going to work your tires a little bit more. The higher groove, you'll get really good grip, but you got to worry about where you enter the corner, because you want to run the wall. It'll allow you to keep a lot of pace around the corner and back out onto the straightaway. But if you just kind of miss that groove a little bit, you get onto what we call the marbos, which is all of the rubber tearing off these tires, and that can get your car really, really loose, make the rear end step out, and can ruin your day and end your day very, very quickly.
About maximizing that minimum speed once again is the key here for these drivers, of course.
Well, and I'm just looking at lap times here. Colin Weatherholt, Scott Crump, Jacob Manning up into 2nd position right now, and going after Colin Weatherholt. You can see the timing just changing there, and they're all running the same pace. Actually, Daniel Eberhardt really only about 0.2 of a second faster than these guys up front. So he's going to have to work to move himself forward and get himself back into the lead. He's got 2-lap newer tires, but he's going to use those up pretty quickly to move himself forward with the pace these guys are currently running.
And these two cars side by side, of course, not on the same lap, as we actually have a bit of a field spread here tonight, but that isn't really taking. How do I put this? It's not really a field spread, but it is in terms of position-wise. Look at, oh my goodness, a bit of a late move there into the corner from the number 3 as well as the 17. could have been dangerous, but luckily nobody getting collected in that.
Well, and look who's right behind him. I mean, and Jones, Molnar, Eberhardt, and Eberhardt has moved his way past Molnar here, working that car. He's again, like last lap. Right now, the guy that is on pace with Eberhardt is Dylan Jones and Scott Crump, running about the same lap times. A little bit of maybe a half a tenth difference per lap between the three of them, depending on who gets the better run and who's got to deal with traffic.
And one other mention I wanted to have here is I think he might be somewhere in this pack, or at least somewhere close to it. The number 60 car of Jeff Merrick, joining us for the first time in this league for this race. First time joining the Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Currently sitting in P20. We're looking at potentially where they were going to be showing. We'll see here tonight if they can maybe have a bit more on the cards.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, first time in here, you know, he is new to the league, and I mean, this is great for him. I mean, even though you're back there, it's a good chance to feel out the drivers, deal with. Look at these guys going. These guys go 3 wide. Sorry, but you know, I want to keep mentioning them, but they're going to go 3 wide here. Look at Eberhardt just dive that car into the corner, taking 2 positions in a shot. Unbelievable driving by him, and he takes over first place.
Pure confidence there for the likes of Eberhardt. Scott Crump behind with not much of an answer. He is going to still be right there, though, not anywhere out of sight. And he will not be giving up anytime soon either. He wants that race win, and the laps, as you mentioned, ticking it down. We are 40 to go.
Yeah, and you know, you know, we've seen that battle, and they're going to continue to battle here, but let's just, you know, mention Jeff Merck again, and, you know, great to sit back there and learn everybody. We've had 2 retirements now. James Shane Wolf, who was leading at one point, and Lane Doyle have both retired from the session, according to my timing screen.
Unfortunate. Hopefully we see them back out there next week, of course. Next week being Dover here at the GSRC YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, as well as check out the description below for our social media, website, and merchandise store. And make sure you guys hit that bell icon as well.
As we see Crump and Jones here battling up side by side, I think they both kind of, you know, said, you know what, Eberhardt, you know what, go ahead. We're higher up in the standings than you. Yes, you're going to gain by taking a win, but if we can come in P2 or P3 for either one of them, it's going to make it more difficult for him to move up, and it's going to allow them to keep on and try and hold on to their position in the standings as we head into Dover, which is always brings some great racing, but also brings a lot of those colored flags that we don't like to see.
Right now, the only thing that we're seeing is the color of the back bumper of Scott Crump here, and tucking up very, very tight. No room for error here, sending it down the inside. Going to be catching up with some lap traffic as well. That could play a part in this battle. We see Eberhardt gaining massively from this lap traffic. We're going to stay side by side, though. Scott Crump, Dylan Jones, these two are basically glued together at this stage of the race.
Yeah, you know, if I was a you know, a crew chief for either one of them right now, I'd probably be saying, you know what, we got one more pit stop to go, back up, hook up, and go get Eberhardt. Make him have to work for what he's got as they deal with some lap traffic here. Ooh, that was really close by Crump. Not a lot of room there as we see Dylan Jones get kind of caught up behind these guys. It's going to lose him some momentum on Crump.
It was almost 4 wide on the banking there, so tight. And the number 37 car, that is going to be who's number 37 car? Currently sitting, John Lewis, currently sitting a bit further back there, managing to be probably a little terrified at this current stage.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you see these, you know, you see the lead cars coming at you there, and you know, sometimes you just want to, you know, you're like, I just want to be out of the way. I don't want to interrupt them. And it can actually make it harder for them if you just, you know, you try and back off a little bit and say, hey, you know what, you guys go around me, because they're expecting you to be running a specific line. And if you just don't happen to be where they expect you to be, really ensue some chaos and really lose some momentum for drivers, or even result in something worse. So, the best advice, just run your line and let these guys get around you at their own pace. They will find a way. That's why they're up front.
Absolutely, just as you would do in real life. Drive predictably, everybody. Don't drive erratically. But as we have it, no erratic driving from the front of our field or from these drivers that we're seeing here. This is going to be Colin Weatherholt, who had a great finish last time around as well. I think this driver is looking for their first win in the championship, and even at that, I think looking for another top 5 here, as it's been a while.
Yeah, Colin, he actually was on the top of the board there for the first 3 races of this. Whoa, really loose.
Save it though.
Yeah, really good save. But yeah, back to Colin. I mean, he was at the top for, I believe, the first 3 to 4 rounds, and man, these guys are really pushing these cars now. And he just still looking for that first win. He's had the podium. He's been P2. He's been P3. Just hasn't gotten that first win. Been able to bring it all the way home yet.
Can he manage it here tonight? Sitting in P5. He's sitting in a decent spot. Bit of ground between him and Manning, though. And he really needs to get on that hammer and close it down. Needs to avoid those wall taps and keep that car firmly planted and facing the correct direction. The cars behind having a bit of a squabbling moment as well. He needs to pay no mind to that.
Well, yeah, and as we look at right on board with Everhold here, coming across, clicking down to lap 100. 30 laps to go, one more pit stop to go, as we got a few takers jumping in the pits right now. We'll get through these pit cycles, and then we'll see how everything sorts out and do a nice quick little walk through the field. Maybe get all of our drivers a little bit of TV time, some of our camera drivers that have been pretty quiet tonight. Get everybody on screen and just allow them to say hello to their fans and let their fans say hello to them.
Yeah, one of the amazing things about sim racing in general is just the camaraderie that is developed, of course, amongst everybody. And yeah, we want to give everyone their fair share. Of course, this is it's a lot of work to show up here every single week and put in the hours, not just to mention just showing up for this race. That's not mentioning the endless amount of time that they have put in during the week to actually practice for the race itself, lap after lap after lap, practicing their pit entries, their pit exits, making sure everything is perfect and getting that car set up right, as it's absolutely crucial to having good deliverance here tonight.
Oh, most definitely. So as we come down here to coming close to probably about 6-7 laps before a full pit stop cycle starts again, we will take a short and final break and come back here for the last half of this race.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Silverback Tax Solution 130. Thank you very much to them for the sponsor here tonight as well. Thank you to GSRC and the Rolling Thunder Racing Series as well. So we resume here. Daniel Eberhardt leading us away. Scott Crump in second, with Daniel Jones biting at his heels in third. Justin Rideout in fourth. Well, I was going to say in fourth. It looks like Colin Weatherholt has something to say about that. And we'll see that, I'm sure, momentarily. We have Eberhardt here riding very comfortably on that outside line, the number 90 car. Calm, cool, collected, I think, is going to be Daniel Eberhardt. I'd love to see some of the driver cams that we have here at this stage of the race, as this is where the nerves start to run high.
Yeah, maybe we can get all our drivers on screen here and take a look at how everybody's running here as we come through into our final pit cycles. Maybe see some of these drivers come in with their pit stops and just see, what's the procedure when you come in and you're driving this and you've got a few seconds to take your hands off the wheel and just breathe.
We're back, though, through the banking for now. Daniel Eberhardt leading us away.
So Weatherholt's in the pits.
Interesting.
So yeah, full pit cycles have started because they can get about 33 laps. So right now would be the undercut. These drivers coming in trying not to push it. This is the undercut. maybe hoping for a caution with 4 or 5 laps left to go.
Oh, and this is for position as well here as we're zooming back onto the track. The 20 and the 29 car. Colin Weatherhook currently leading up the number 29, but it looks like I think we have a bit of an overspeed here. But no, as we rezoom, Colin there boxes him out, and as they rejoin the straight into the banking, it is going to be Colin's position.
Well, that was a heavy push out there because we even saw Daniel Eberhardt try and push a little bit too much coming out of pit, on pit exit and, make the car loose. Good job by both drivers, just keeping the car straight, keeping the tires turning, and, getting out on track and putting the battle, whether it's on track or coming out of the pits. They're not afraid to fight.
Most certainly not, and that is what we're here to see and what the drivers are here for as well, of course. It's not all about the win. It's about, or it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. I think.
I don't know. There's some of these drivers. It's all about the win. You got to give them that for sure.
Well, let's be honest. A win doesn't hurt. Let's be honest. But of course.
Well, and as we're on board here with Colin Weatherholt again, one of those drivers that's just put together a great season, just can't seem to bring it home and grab that first place. Maybe tonight's the night. Maybe tonight, luck will be with him.
Yeah, the strength of field that he's driving in is definitely no help when it comes to winning a race. Such talent throughout this entire grid, all 29 cars here tonight. Near professional drivers.
Yeah, everybody's shown through the season they can drive these cars. They know what these cars have the ability to do. The biggest thing for me is this is fixed setup. So, this is whatever they are presented with. And these drivers are all driving the exact same car. This is all up to the driver. Every driver has the same equipment underneath them on the sim track. It's the equipment you have and the ability you have behind the wheel of the car.
Now, of course, that, as we were saying earlier, the equipment, it doesn't matter. You can drive on a controller and you can still be an absolute expert out there. So don't let that deter you. If you guys are interested in getting in sim racing, definitely do so. Just take a look at it. Get a Logitech G920. They're nice and affordable in terms of equipment. Try to pick up one secondhand even. It's worth it. This is a sport and a passion that once you kind of get into, it's kind of hard to get out. And then all of a sudden you have a very expensive 3-monitor setup and you're like, how did that happen?
Well, I actually got a message on my Facebook from long ago. I've been doing this for 9 years now. And I'm running triples with a 4th monitor. And once you get into it, you can't get away from it. You just keep investing. You want better equipment. You want better graphics. So much more that you want. And it's no longer a hobby. It's a determination that you have.
It is a lifestyle at a certain point, and a passion that a lot of them, that everyone here tonight shares. And as I was mentioning earlier, just the sheer amount of practice that these drivers put in. We're talking, this is basically a secondary full-time job for some of them, along with their full-time job that they already have, and wife and kids for some of them. So shout out to everybody in this race, all 29 drivers for participating. It's just absolutely incredible to see.
Oh, and definitely some angry wives and angry kids for the amount of time some of us put into this. But it definitely, it's great. If you ever get the opportunity to really sit down and run in one of these races, it can be pretty intimidating when you first get going. But once you really, settle down, and it's so much fun. As I'm just looking at the timing screen here, we got Bo Tiffany's going to have to come in for his final pit stop. And that's going to put Jacob Manning up front in first place, but Daniel Eberhardt gonna try and close on him. He's about 2 seconds behind him right now, but closing that gap really, really quickly.
And Manning,
and we've got a caution. I think we're gonna get a caution on track. I just saw a wreck on my other screen. There is the caution, and
Spicy.
that would be Jared Mogard involved in that one. I believe a couple other cars were involved.
This may fall right into place for Bo Tiffany, as well as Joshua Suss and even Colin Weatherholt. You mentioned it earlier, a little bit of luck for Colin. This might be the break he was looking for. Here's the replay. This is the 15 car. Well, there we go. Okay, so it's going to be we're keeping an eye here on the bright pink and neon. Tap from the rear, another one to send him around. And the aero flaps opening up, trying to rejoin a massive collision there. And no doubt they're bringing out that yellow flag.
Well, and just taking a look at that, this is what I was saying about being on that apron. You come up and the car's going to slide whether you want it to or not. And he just got up in front of that other car and he just couldn't check up enough not to get into it. Oh, look at that hit. That's going to definitely ruin his race.
Yeah, that's Jared Haynes in the number 89, and there was really nothing Jared could have done there. A complete passenger at that stage. He could have tried to jerk the wheel and move out of the way, but that probably would have caused even more of a collision.
Yeah, I don't think he could have avoided that at all. Just happened right in front of him. And again, these cars, it's not like you can just turn the wheel on these cars and avoid another car. I mean, if you try and crank the wheel to the left or crank the wheel to the right, you're at top speed. That rear end's not. You could end up being even worse off, even though that was really bad for him. Is definitely a lot of damage to that car. As I believe everybody is, we're gonna have a few cars take pit stops here. Bo Tiffany coming down through for his pit stop.
Now, Daniel Eberhardt's going to be green to go to the end, and this is probably going to put him with a little bit of extra fuel even, so he's going to be pushing pretty much flat out the entire ways, along with Scott Crump. Colin has been out for 11 laps so far, so it's really going to be interesting to see what Colin Weatherholt has here tonight, and if he can secure himself not only a top 3, but maybe even take it to the likes of Daniel Eberhardt and Jacob Manning currently up in P1.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Jacob, man, pretty much all of these guys up front have battled Eberhardt before, and they've shown they can go through. But we're going to go through our field here. So right now, while we're under caution, everybody's gotten sorted out. Jacob Manning currently holding first position. You see him on board there, a little relaxed. Take a deep breath. Followed by Daniel Eberhardt, currently in third. It's going to start on his inside, I believe. That's how they line up. Third position, Scott Crump, who's moved kind of sitting where he started on pole, lost 2 positions, currently in third. Then we have Colin Weatherholt in fourth, up 7 positions, started back in 11th. Dylan Jones rounding out the top 5, up 18 positions, started back in 23rd. Then we have Michael Larch, Matt Molnar, Drew Ballestros, Justin Rideout, our organizer, and Luke Smith rounding out the top 10. And I will pass it over to you, Mike, and then finish going through our field here tonight.
Yeah, rounding out P11 here, it is going to be Ryan Johnson in the Midwest, number 38. Behind him is going to be in P12, Bo Tiffany. And behind him in 13th there will be Joshua Suss. Randall Nicholas is going to be bringing up 14th position with Jordan Burbo in P15, with Trevor Williams in 16th. Sean Corcoran in P17, and Jared Mogart in 18th. We have Jeff Merrick bringing up 19th position. Followed up behind him in 20th is going to be John Lewis, with William Schwindenhammer in 21st. We have Brenton Barker 22nd, Jason Maines in 23rd, Jared Haynes in 24th, Matthew Robbins in 25th, Dean Gagliano 26th, James Shanwolf in 27th, Lane Doyle in 28th, and last but not least will be Seth Reed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Jared Haynes currently in 24th, James Shanwolf currently in 27th, Lane Doyle currently in 28th, have all left the session. So laps will be clicking up over them over the last 10 laps. You're going to be coming around to 10 laps to go here. This really got clicked off quick tonight, even with these cautions.
We are going to be letting the lapped cars through here. And then very soon we will be seeing that pace car peel into the pits, and we will have our race restart with 10 to go. And a sprint dash to the end. It's going to be, I think elbows out might be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, we've got Daniel Eberhardt, Scott Crump, and Dylan Jones with the newest tires on the cars. And Jacob Manning, he's going to want to kind of do what Shane Wolf did there earlier, get out in front as fast as he can. He's got about 5 more laps on his tires. Definitely want to shoot himself forward and try and open up as much of a gap to those guys behind him as he can.
Cars come around the banking once more here before we begin the race restart. Safety car peels in. We get ready to go green. Jacob Manning leading us away with Daniel Eberhardt in second. And we are green, 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 and it's going to be a fairly mediocre start for Jacob Manning, actually. Daniel Eberhardt keeping him honest here at the beginning, and looking like he is going to pull a bit of a gap as Daniel Eberhardt under threat from Colin Weatherholt. Colin Weather is going to be trying to take the lead early. He wants this race win, I think, more than a lot of people out there tonight, but of course, absolutely everyone wants it.
Well, you see the line up here. You see Eberhardt dive down to the inside, try and take it away from Manning. He's going to take that first position. So much confidence in the car. He just shows so much, but Jacob Manning not going to give it up easy here, saying, I want that inside line for the next corner so I can get around you, and see if he can dive down here, or if he's just going to hold himself up a little bit here. Yeah, you can see he's just, really not pushing the issue, but there is only 9 laps to go. He's going to want to stick with Eberhardt, try and keep Weatherholt and Crump behind him.
5-lap older tires. That's going to be quite the challenge, though. He is going to be getting a bit of a bump draft, it looks like, from behind, which, a bit of out of shape there for the likes of Colin Weatherholt. He's going to go make it 3 wide, though, heading down the back stretch. Or the front stretch, excuse me. Isn't going to be able to make anything happen just yet. Resumes 2x2.
Yeah, dude, these guys, a little bit of contact there. Not enough to get anybody out of shape, but definitely some contact there to the side of the car. And he got into the back of Manning there. That's going to kill his momentum and drop him down the pack.
Manning got a little bit loose there, which is the result of why that car checked up into the back there. That is going to be an absolute dream for Colin Weatherholt as he gets P3 and is going to be gaining there, maybe even to the back of Scott Crump here soon enough.
Wow, look at that. Sean Corcoran, 29.869, sets the fastest lap with 7 laps to go in the race. Good on him. Great job. Doing really, I don't think he's really had the day he wanted today, but certainly going to be happy having the fastest lap.
Now, one driver here that is in this battle that we're seeing, Bo Tiffany, the number 35, on the absolute freshest tires just about in the field, 7 laps old. Bo Tiffany is going to be an absolute rocket ship currently. Needs to keep it under control. I think that was Bo getting a bit out of shape potentially.
Yeah, I think he actually even scraped the wall there. It just pushed too. It might not have been Tiffany. It might have been Molnar that actually scraped the wall there. So yeah, Bo Tiffany, newer tires there. Over 10 lap newer tires than everybody in front of him. So definitely, he can see him starting to push here as we come around with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take a look here. Whoa, bit of a tap. Randall Nicholas there gets into the back of the number 3. This is elbows out racing as predicted. These drivers trying to go for every which way they can. Contact there onto the outside. Wow, he's going to wash wide, keeps it under control, cuts the Vodafone car off. Randall Nichols going to need to dial in there. Is going to be slipping and sliding every which way.
Yeah, brown beard. I think a little bit of a brown pants moment there. That was a great job holding on to that. That definitely could have been very, very bad for the back half of the field.
Absolutely. Thoroughly testing the structural fortitude of his racing trousers, but so far able to carry on. Oh, but he's out of shape again. Let's maybe not jinx it just yet. Is going to be tucking down to the apron. We've seen the dangerous rejoins on there before. He rejoins very safely, though. Has a look to the inside again with a massive amount of overspeed.
Yeah, running in 10th position, no slouch. That's a nice place to be, really good place to be. A little shift in the chair there. But yeah, we... Yeah, that's that. Okay, now I gotta settle down. The pants have been, filled up a little bit. I need to shift. But as we come around here, 100, 2, 8, 9, and with caution is out on track. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
And it is Dylan Jones. Oh my goodness. What happened there?
That's so huge. Okay.
And that car looks like it's got a lot of damage.
So this is the replay here. We're going to be watching the number 3 car. Dylan Jones on the outside. Loses, I think got out of shape there, and that is what allowed the number 26, I think that is, to make contact and have a bit of a spin. Be interested to see from another camera angle, though, what happened here. We're going to get a much better angle.
So yeah, that's the 69 car of Nichols right behind him here as they come into the corner. Yeah, it looks like he's losing a little bit of momentum, maybe having to lift a bit here. Got a little loose, and oh, Nichols got a huge launch there and just closed up on him a lot quicker than he thought and turned that rear end around. Getting underneath the back of these cars does not do them any good.
Wow. I'm sensing a little bit of an Abu Dhabi action here tonight as we have Daniel Eberhardt leading this race on the restart. It will be Bo Tiffany behind with 9 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, you can see he got in the, it looks like Jones kind of clipped the wall there, just killed his momentum. And unfortunately for Randall Nichols, you know what? I almost feel like we need to stop talking about him every time we've had him on screen. we have jinxed him, and you know, we apologize. It's not intentional that we give you the curse that is known to come out from these broadcasts.
As the cars unlap themselves and zoom around, but yes, we do apologize. Interesting, though. I gotta say here, I'm racking my brain right now, and I think Bo Tiffany is doing the same. Bo Tiffany, I don't think has a top 5 finish in this entire season. Has 3 top 10s to their name, no top 5s. So this could be not just their first top 5 tonight, but their first race win, and it's looking fairly good.
Well, and this is where we come into our green-white checkered, because when they come around here, the lights are still on. That will be lap 131. So we are going to be looking at a green-white checker here. So it's going to be a 2-lap sprint for these drivers. And they've already shown with 3 laps to go, they're not afraid to throw it all out there.
No, most certainly not. It is going to be a knife fight in a phone booth, I think, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I think if I was Bo Tiffany, I know, you know, he's got 10-lap newer tires. I think I would just say, you know what, Eberhardt, as soon as you go, I'm just going to go with you, and just kind of stay with him. Don't try and battle him. Don't try and take anything away from him. Just get himself out in front of Scott Crump, and hopefully those newer tires will allow him to stay out there and grab his first podium of the season.
It's going to be a challenge, though, of course. He's going to want that win. He's going to want it beyond words, of course. And with 3 miles of racing that will be left, of course, barring any other green-white checkers, we will...
Well, we only have one green-white checkered attempt here. So basically the next flag is going to finish this race, be it yellow or be it checkered. That will be the end of it.
So once we resume, we will have 3 miles left of the Silverback Tax Solution 130. Of course, thank you everyone here in chat for watching, commenting, hitting that like button. If you guys are interested, definitely take a look down in that description and take a look at our website as well as our merchandise store. And don't forget to hit that bell icon and that sub, as it is free here on YouTube. And thank you all very much. We'll be back here, of course, next week with Dover for some more action.
So lights still on the pace cars. They get themselves lined up here as they come around across the start-finish line, starting of lap 132. Pace, the lights should be out. The lights are out on the pace car. So now everybody's going to tighten their grip on that wheel. You know, squeeze those butt cheeks a little bit. This is going to be an interesting finish.
Absolutely. Visor down from this point forward. And what is it going to be? Daniel Eberhardt with 3 miles ahead of him. He leads this pack here tonight. Pace car going to be peeling in here as the tension builds.
I believe we're on board here with Scott Crump as we come around it, you know, coming into 3 and 4. You can see Eberhardt, Bo Tiffany on the outside there, Crump in the back just waiting to pounce on either one of these drivers and move himself up. But don't count out Ryan Johnson, Colin Weatherholt, Matthew Molnar. These guys will open it up and they will fight for everything they can get.
as we see the pack now 2x2 Noah's Ark formation for the final time here tonight. So tight, so tense as we get ready to come to the line here and resume. And it's green, 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 and Daniel Eberhardt is immediately gone. Scott Crump is through as well. Bo Tiffany caught sleeping at the wheel.
Yeah, did not get the launch that he wanted there. Is going to be under, mind you, coming back there hard. That's Colin Weatherholt in third. Bo Tiffany back to fourth, but does have those newer tires. But can you have enough time to use them there? Gets underneath Crump, goes after, Weatherholt. Now he's going after Crump with those new tires. New tires warmed up, all that scrub off the tires, all those marbles off the tires, and just gonna battle Crump here side by side. Let Eberhardt go where he goes, but Bo Tiffany's definitely gonna want that P2.
As we approach the final lap here, Bo Tiffany has resumed his P2 from where we restarted. There's a bit of a contact on the wall in the back there, nothing coming of it though. Daniel Eberhardt looking very strong though to take this one here tonight. Bo Tiffany though, with the fresher tires, it'll just take one mistake out of Daniel. But it looks like no, Daniel Eberhardt is gonna come to the line and take the win of the Silverback Solutions 130 here tonight. And what a drive it was, Daniel Eberhardt from down in P14. Bo Tiffany, an honorable mention, well, not an honorable mention, a podium finish in their first one of the season at that. The number 35 car comes home in P2 with Scott Crump in P3.
Yeah, and Daniel Eberhardt is just, he's proved it again, that even these drivers say that he is the guy to beat. If you can beat Eberhardt and you can beat him on track, it's a huge booster for all these guys because he has shown he knows how to drive this car. He knows where he can put it, and he has a blast with it. Bo Tiffany, kind of bit of a struggle the first part of the season. Great to see the strategy work out there, come home with the P2. Scott Crump, again, podium is a podium. That's it's really gonna see how the standings lay out here once these results come into with the points.
Absolutely. And as we take a look here at our finishing order, Daniel Eberhardt takes the race win here tonight with Bo Tiffany coming home in second and Scott Crump in third. Ryan Johnson going to be bringing home P4 and Colin Weatherholt in fifth.
Yeah, and then we got Jordan Berube in sixth position with Matt Molnar in seventh, Drew Ballestros in eighth, ninth by Randall Nichols, and in 10th place, Luke Smith. Good finish for him tonight.
Jacob Manning going to be bringing home P11 with Michael Larch behind in 12th, Dylan Jones 13th, and Sean Corcoran in P14. P15 rounded out here by Jason Maines.
Yeah, a lap down for Jason Maines with Jeff Merrick, Trevor Williams, William Schwindenhammer, Brenton Barker, and John Lewis down to 20th, all one lap down from the field at the drop of the check.
And rounding out the back here, it is going to be P21 belonging to Jared Mogard, P22 to Joshua Suss, Matthew Robbins coming home in 23rd, Justin Rideout in 24th, Dean Gagliano in 25th, Jared Haynes 26th, James Shenwolf in 27th, Lane Doyle in 28th, and Seth Reed in 29th. As we now take a little break here, we're going to have some post-race interviews, so don't go anywhere, folks, with a little break before that. Welcome back, everybody, to Kansas Speedway for the Silverback Tax Solutions 130. What an incredible race we've had here tonight, and we have the absolute pleasure of speaking with our race winner, not just our race winner, 5-time race winner in this series on his return, Daniel Eberhardt. Daniel, I gotta say, on this is probably the best you could possibly hope for on your return.
Heck yeah. Man, they made me work for it tonight. I'm pouring over here sweating. I thought Boo had it. To be honest with you, I thought he had all the tires he needed at the end. I saw him coming, and then it's just like, these cautions just fall at them, kind of, crazy times. A little bit of conspiracy theorist that's what I am when I race, and and everything else really. That's just how they fall. So they made me work for it tonight. Hey, it ain't supposed to be easy. So it was a really fun race for the 90 machine.
Yeah, and starting in P14 at that, you're qualifying not quite going the way that you would have hoped it, but you immediately made it back up. I think by lap 7, you were fighting for a podium position, so coming at it very quickly.
Yeah, I didn't have really right off the rail speed. I didn't understand that. Like qualifying was really poor. I was not knowing what I was doing in practice, to be honest with you. I don't know. The track changes so quickly with the new tire model, so it's just insane how everybody's just gotten better and better and better each week. Scott Crump, he was there with me all night, and I thought he was going to be the force to be reckoned with. And then we kind of got on different fuel strategies. If you go 2 laps longer than everybody else, you kind of have a good tire game on everybody in the whole field.
That makes sense. Now, I gotta say, I think the reason that everyone's getting quicker, 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 and quicker is, well, the ever looming threat of you. So I think you putting a little bit of motivation on that. Dana, before we let you go here, is there anyone that you would like to thank for tonight and as well as just in general?
Yeah, Mr. Rideout for putting on Rolling Thunder. It's a great league. Happy to be back after 2 weeks. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Y'all do an amazing job each and every week. And I got to thank my wife who puts up with all the madness and sim racing that I do and anything else I do in real life. And thank the good Lord above for everything because without him, nothing would be possible.
Absolutely awesome. And thank you very much. That is Daniel Eberhardt, everybody, with his 5th race win of this Rolling Thunder Racing series. Now moving on, it will be up next, Bo Tiffany.
Well, definitely somebody who really deserves that second place tonight. Everything kind of fell in place for you tonight, Bo, except just couldn't actually get past Eberhardt. Tell us about your race tonight. How do you feel about it?
First off, congratulations to Daniel. He got me on the restart there. I don't know what it is ever since they put this black box in for second place restart, and I just have never been able to get the timing right. But thankful. I gotta tell Justin Rideout, thank you for spending time with me today because up until about 2 hours before the race, I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to race. My computer crashed this week.
Oh, well, a good way to get the computer back and bring yourself home with a podium. You've been kind of struggling a little bit there in the first part of the season. It's great to see you up front. Just overall, what did you think there when those cautions came out really in a timely fashion for you?
Yeah, I hate fuel mileage racing. I'll be the first one. I like to race like we did tonight. There, that one caution we had, I was like, there was only a few of us on the lead lap, so I ducked in and topped off with one to go, and just kind of took care of my stuff. Was able to track a couple guys down, and then coming to that last cycle of pit stops, is like, man, I could probably stretch this out and just run hard the last 10 laps. Just really was hoping for a top 10.
Well, you got yourself a P2 tonight with that strategy. Anybody you like to thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, just you guys do an awesome job, man. You guys awesome. The streams are good. Everybody I know that watches the races love it. Thinking of my parents because they put in the time to watch. Of course, my wife and kids, and my kids sponsor the car, so that makes it fun. And everybody that puts everything into the series, especially Justin and everybody that's put into this thing. And then all the guys really there finished in the top 10. They knew I had faster tires, and every one of them raced me clean. When they didn't have to.
Well, definitely. Great. Congratulations tonight on that P2. Great to see you on the podium. And I believe Mike has caught up with our third place winner, Scott Crump.
Yes, last but not least, it will be the man himself when he's not here. He is. We have Scott Crump, and we have him on screen as well. The Sterling Moss driver, might we call you, due to your relaxed position in terms of your arms. But I gotta say, Scott, from watching you tonight, your race was anything but relaxed.
Yeah, definitely caution's fallen not our way tonight. Either way, we still ran strong tonight. I don't think anybody was touching Daniel tonight. I don't know what he does or whatever, but it's just magic how fast he is. So it's pretty crazy.
Got to say, the first half of your race, I mean, it was quite, you basically didn't put a wheel wrong for the first half until, obviously the strategy came out. I think the first caution is maybe what caught you out there. I'm not completely sure what led you down to, I think it was like P6 at one stage.
Yeah, I think I dropped back P5 there when the caution came out. I think it was three people that still hadn't pitted, and then Daniel jumped me right before the pits. And yeah, I mean, pretty much second best car tonight. Dylan was right there with me, so Dylan was pretty strong too. So we were side by side a lot. Definitely top three car. So I think we finished about where we deserved to finish.
No, absolutely. I think you put on quite the show here tonight. And in terms of putting on the show, I mean, is there anyone you'd like to thank? It's just like I say, I'm trying to find words for it, but we watched you for so much of the screen time. You're side by side, probably about 50% of that race. So, I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Get a shout out to Daniel winning the race. Get a shout out to Justin, puts on a heck of a leg. Get a shout out to y'all up in the booth. Love going back watching the broadcast. Get a shout out to my sponsors, Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, Blue Egg Marketing. Get a shout out to whoever else. We had Dylan running clean tonight, and some other people running pretty clean side by side racing. I think Manny was up there running side by side. Colin was up there running side by side. So everybody was pretty clean tonight. Glad we can bring it home P3, and not sure that puts us in the points lead or not, or tied, or it's very close. So coming down to the stretch here, it's going to be tight. With long as Daniel shows up, it's gonna be really close. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait next week. Heading on over to Dover, of course. Thank you very much to Scott Crump, finishing P3, and we'll see you out there next week. Thank you very much to everybody out there tonight as well. Thank you to Twitch out as well, to all of our sponsors, Silverback Tax Solutions, as well as, of course, our Rolling Thunder Racing Series, the incredible league that you're watching here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, we'll be back here next week for Dover. Definitely do tune in same time on Sunday. It's going to be an absolute amazing show. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you out on track.